Welcome to music, everyone, all of my pre-K friends and parents. So this is our first music lesson video for music for all of my pre-K students. So today's music lesson, we're going to be talking about all of the things that we need to be able to do in order for us to have fun in music. Because I know that in music, we love to have fun. And I would also like to have fun in music with you guys. So in order for us to have fun, we have to do one simple thing, and that is be able to listen and follow directions the first time given. So again, my name is Mr. Battle. Can you guys say Mr. Battle? Mr. Battle, and I am your music teacher here at ECA. And in order for us to follow directions, we have to make sure that we listen, right? And in order for us to have fun, we have to do listening and following directions very well, okay? So we are going to be learning on our iPads. You guys have an iPad, right? So on our iPads, we're going to be learning in our Zoom class. So your parents and family are going to be helping you guys to make sure that you're able to log on to Zoom for class at your scheduled time. And remember, pre-K, this is your video class that you guys are going to be receiving for your first lesson. So today, we're going to be talking about all of the things that we're going to learn in music. Okay, we're going to learn about different kinds of music to listen to. We're going to learn about musical instruments that you may see. This is just a few of our musical instruments, and we're going to learn about how we will play those instruments, okay? We're also going to be learning to sing songs and listen to different songs. We're also going to be doing movement and dance and many other fun things in music. But remember, we have to be able to listen and follow directions the first time given. So that means that when Mr. Battle gives you directions to follow, you have to follow when? The first time, okay? So let's get to our iPads because we're going to be learning through our iPads on our Zoom class, okay? So when you guys are on your iPads, it's very important that you guys keep your faces on camera so that I can see you and so that you can see me. Always keep your face on camera because if your face stays on camera, that means that you guys are going to be listening and following directions. And if you're doing that, that means that we will have what? Fun. And I know you guys want to have fun. I do too. So we will have fun if you listen and follow directions. So always keep your face on your iPad and always make sure that you're sitting, okay? Always make sure that you're sitting in a nice, comfortable area in your home and where there's no voices, no sounds or anything so that you guys can hear all of the instructions that are being given during music class, okay? Keeping your face on your iPad, making sure, see this? This is the camera's eye. So you have to make sure that your face stays where I can see you because this is where I will be able to see you through this circle camera here. So that's why it's very important that you keep your face in front of the camera at all times. And always make sure that you have good self-control. Self-control means that you're going to be in charge of yourself. That means that you're going to be in charge of your body parts, making sure that you stay seated and that you stay keeping your attention focused on camera so that you're able to listen and follow all of the fun directions that Mr. Battle is going to have for us during music class. Okay? So remember, stay seated in front of your camera at all times. Okay? Now, on Zoom, you guys will have opportunities where you may want to speak or when I may ask you to speak. But before doing that, in order for you to hear Mr. Battle when he's giving directions, I need you guys to do this. Keep your face on camera. So even if you're sitting in a chair, or even if you're sitting on the floor, always keep your faces on the camera with good self-control, okay? So if you look at this picture here, you'll see that this is a friend who has her headphones on. And even if you don't have headphones, that's fine. Even if you don't have headphones, you can still sit nicely and listen while keeping your face on camera while using your iPad. You can prop your iPad up so that you can stay in front of the camera so that I can be able to see, okay? See that? Now, on your Zoom, as I was saying, when Mr. Battle is talking, it is very important that you guys look at the bottom of your screen on your iPad and you'll see something that looks like this. Okay? This is what you want to see. So you'll see a microphone, but you'll also see a line going through that microphone. And that means that you are muted. Okay? So when you're muted, that means that you can hear Mr. Battle. Okay, so always make sure that when Mr. Battle is talking and giving directions, that your microphone looks like this. That means it has a line, a red line going through the microphone. That means that you're listening to Mr. Battle. Okay, now, if you ever have a question or something that you would like to say to me on the camera while keeping your face on camera, I would like for you to raise your hand. And you can wiggle your fingers. So this is the wiggly finger raising of your hand to let me know that you have something that you would like to say. Because remember, you guys are going to be on mute. Can you say mute? Mute. That means that Mr. Battle will not be able to hear the sounds that are happening in your house, okay? Because you have to be able to listen to Mr. Battle. So if you have the mute on, just like this, and you see that red line, that means it's time to listen, not talk. Got it? Now, when you would like to talk, remember you can raise your hand, and then I may ask you and wiggle your fingers, or you can do this with your finger. So there are two ways of getting Mr. Battle's attention if you have something you would like to say. You can raise the wiggly hand, or you can raise the wiggly finger. And that will let me know, oh, someone has something that they would like to say to Mr. Battle. So that means that I will unmute you. And when I unmute you, it will look like this. Do you see a line going through that microphone? There's no line. So that means that you have my permission to speak, okay? But when you're finished asking your question or speaking and saying what it is that you would like to say, you will go back to the bottom of your iPad and you will tap with your finger, just like that, the button for muting yourself again. Because after you finish talking, you have to mute yourself back so that you can listen to Mr. Battle's directions, okay? So, very important. So today's music lesson, remember, we're talking about being able to listen and follow directions so that we are all able to have what? Fun in music, okay? So remember, when you enter our Zoom classroom, always stay on mute. Always stay on mute. But when Mr. Battle asks you to unmute yourself, that means that you will take your finger and tap that on your iPad. You'll tap that sign that looks like this, and you'll make sure that it then looks like this. And then that's when you'll be able to speak when Mr. Battle asks you to speak, okay? And remember, if you have a question or something you want to say to Mr. Battle, you could do this. Oh, look at that. This young man is raising his hand. But remember, I gave you some extra things that you can do that are more fun. So you can raise your hand, or you can do the wiggly spirit fingers, or you can do the wiggly pointer finger. And that will let me know that you have a question, okay? And then I will say your name and ask, what do you need? And then you can tell me what exactly that you would like to ask or what exactly you would like to say, okay? So I'm looking forward to you guys making sure that you practice this at home and that you remember, because it's very important that we follow all of these rules and expectations so that we can have a smooth, fun time in music. All right? So we talked about the mute button. We talked about the unmute button. We talked about raising our hand when you have a question or something that you would like to say to Mr. Battle. We talked about making sure that you always keep your faces on the camera. And in order to do that, you have to have self-control. That means be in charge of yourself. Sit nicely, be attentive, and listen to Mr. Battle's instructions while keeping your face on camera so that your eyes are looking and your ears are what? Listening. Okay? Very good. So I know that you guys are going to do a good job with this. And parents, please make sure that we're helping our kids as best as we can to make sure that they're staying on task so that we can have a successful music lesson, especially when we start our Zoom classes. But remember, parents, note to you guys, remember that all pre-K students are learning their music through video, and that's only for the week of September 7th and also the week of September 14th. Only for those 2 weeks, they will be receiving music video lessons every Tuesday and Thursday in the afternoon during their asynchronous learning. That's when they can go visit the video that will be posted in Google Classroom. And all you have to do is click on that video and watch it so that you guys can be prepared when we actually start on Zoom the week of September 21st. Okay? So please make sure that our kids are engaged in watching these videos so that they are prepared for our Zoom classes. All right, so let's make sure that we're always on our best behavior, boys and girls, because being on our best behavior will allow us to have fun in music. And I know that sometimes we may not feel so good, we may feel tired, or we may feel angry about something, or we just may not feel our best. But I want you guys to do your very best so that we can have fun in music, okay? So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys very soon. And remember the important things that I talked to you guys about today, because I need you guys to make sure that you're able to show me those things when we start class. Okay, so remember, this is how it looks when you are given permission to speak. This is how it looks when you want to say something to Mr. Battle. You will raise your hand or wiggle those fingers or that pointer finger, okay? And this is also how it looks. See how I kept my face on the camera? This is also how it looks when Mr. Battle is speaking to you. So like right now, I'm speaking to you, and when I'm speaking to you, your camera should look like that. That means that you are listening. And that also means that you're sitting nicely where you need to be, okay? Remember those things. Now, there are also be times where I may ask you guys to stand up, because there are going to be times where we do a little movement and we're dancing to some music, okay? So in order to do that, you have the choice. You can dance in your chair and move in your chair, or you can stand up. But make sure that when you stand up, you are making sure you're looking at your iPad camera so that you're able to see yourself. Because if you can see yourself, then I can see you. But that would mean that your parents would have to help make sure that your iPads are standing up, propped on something, so that you can stay on camera even when you're standing up. See that? Make sure that when you're standing up, that the space that you have after you get out of your chair, if you're sitting in the chair, that you have enough safe room for movement, but you're only going to move in that one spot. You guys are not going to run around the house or run around to different areas of your home. You're going to stay right in front of the camera and dance or move right in this space whenever we're doing movement activities. Okay, and whenever Mr. Battle asks you to stand up. But if I don't ask you to stand up, that means that you will be sitting in a chair or wherever you feel comfortable on the floor. Okay? But make sure that it's only the way that you will be sitting or sitting in your chair is only the time when Mr. Battle does not ask you to stand up. So if I do not ask you to stand up, that means that you will remain seated. And in order to remain seated, that means that you have to be in charge of your body. Make sure that you're telling your body, oh, I have to sit down and I have to listen to Mr. Battle so that I'm able to listen and follow directions so that I can have fun and music. Okay? So our video lesson today is all about listening and following directions and making sure that we remember how to mute ourselves when Mr. Battle is talking, how to unmute ourselves, and you'll be using your finger to push those pictures that are on your iPads for that to happen. And remember, if I'm talking during the time where you see this on your iPad, but I'll always be looking at my laptop, which I'll be having where I can see all of your faces. So on your camera, if you happen to do this, I'll see it. If you do this, I'll see it. But it's very important that you only do this without talking. So you cannot talk and raise your hand at the same time and wiggle your finger at the same time. You have to keep your voice off. And if Mr. Battle sees that, I will give you permission to unmute yourself, okay? And then you can say what it is that you have to say. Got it? One more thing. Sometimes Mr. Battle will have all of us unmute ourselves. And when we are all unmuted, it will look like this. That means that we'll all have the chance to talk at the same time. And when we're talking at the same time, Mr. Battle may have some directions to give you. So he'll do this. He'll take his hand. That means that I want you to stop and get quiet. That means that you have to turn your voice off, okay? So that you can listen to Mr. Battle. But when I do this, that means that you are ready to listen. So at that point, you will need to go ahead and push that mute button so that you can listen. And that will look like this, okay? So that's even if we're dancing. Even if we're dancing while sitting in our chair, or even if we stand up and we're dancing, and we may play a game called freeze dance. So if that happens, if you see Mr. Battle do this, that means that I want you to stop moving. See that? I stopped moving my body. So that means that I have good self-control. So you guys are going to be practicing having good self-control also. Stopping your body from moving. But then when I say you can talk or dance, you can go ahead and dance and move. But whenever you see Mr. Battle ball his hand up and put it here close to my mouth, that means that I want you to stop and get quiet. Okay? So maybe that's something also that you can practice at home. And parents, you can also practice that for our kids as well, with our kids as well, to make sure that they are ready and prepared for when I do this. That means that they're going to cut their voices off and stop movement. And that means that I have their full attention. They're going to be sitting and listening. Okay? All right. So that concludes our first music lesson for our great pre-K stars. So let's make sure that we watch this video, okay? Because we have to make sure that we're prepared for our next class, because I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm also going to be watching to see who's actually doing some of the things that I spoke to you about today. So it's all about listening. What do we use to listen? We use our ears and following directions, okay? So have a great day, and until next time, I'll see you guys next music lesson. And I want to see how well you guys are ready and prepared for our music lesson so that we can learn more fun things and do more fun things in music. All right? Have a great day.